Over the last couple of seasons, there's been a theme developing in the snowmobile industry, and it's not about building the fastest, most powerful sleds on the snow. Instead, it's about building sleds that have a little different appeal to them. Just a couple of years ago, Yamaha and Arctic Cat introduced a line of 200cc displacement sleds, named the Snow Scoot and ZR200 respectively. Now, these sleds were the first mass-produced snowmobiles built for the youth market that were way more than the strict yard machines like the 120 class. Now for 2020, there's a new 400 class, again brought to you by Yamaha and Arctic Cat. And if you've been looking for one of these machines, you've probably figured out by now that they're really hard to find. You might even say they're sold out. And for good reason, which is they are awesome. Not only is this class of sled simply fun to ride, it appeals to a huge variety of buyers. Now, there's definitely an argument to be made that they're a stepping stone snowmobile for young riders who have outgrown the 200s but are still just a little bit too small for full-size snowmobiles. But this machine is also a great first sled for a new buyer, or a perfect sled for riders who just don't have the strength or even the want to muscle a big full-size sled around all day. So let's start with some stats. To begin with, the ski stance is a very stable feeling 38 inches with 7.2 inches of travel. Then there's a 121-inch track in the back with another 10.7 inches of travel. The engine is a 400cc single cylinder that's liquid cooled and fuel injected that puts out about 65 horsepower. Now, the sled also has electric start, digital gauges, push button reverse, heated grips. It's got high and low beam headlight. It's got a brake light with tail light. It's got a windshield. It's got a really comfortable seat. It's even got a snow flap back there. Now, if this sounds like I'm describing a regular snowmobile, well, I am, because this thing is a real snowmobile. It's just a little bit smaller. In addition to all those regular snowmobile features, there's also 3 different models in the 400 class. The Yamaha SX Venom and the comparable Arctic Cat Blast ZR are the trail versions. Then in the mountain category, there's the SX Venom Mountain and the Blast M, and there's even utility style machines with the Transporter Lite and Blast LT. Each iteration of the 400s is as legitimate as the next, with specific details to optimize the ride experience in each, like the articulated rear rail in the utility sleds or the single beam rear suspensions in the mountain machines. By the way, both mountain and utility sleds in this 400 class have 146-inch rear tracks with 1.6-inch lugs on the utility side and 2-inch lugs on the mountain machines. Now, basically what I'm trying to get at here is how legit these sleds really are. To simply describe them as youth models is selling them way too short. This is backed up by the ride experience of each. At Snowshoe, I had the opportunity to squeeze the trigger on every one of the 400 class sleds, and each one was impressive. Now sure, you can't compare the Venom to the SRX, but in the mindset of the intended user, I can't see how buyers in this class will be disappointed.
I want to tell you that tonight I feel like the afterlife, but my vision is changing.
Another big plus of the smaller size is the smaller layout of the controls and seating position, which is still quite comfortable for riders up to around 6 feet tall. This smaller feel and reduced effort will make riders in this category easily capable of a full day's ride without feeling wiped out at the end of the day. Even the 65 horsepower of the single-cylinder two-stroke has a just right feel to it. It has plenty of low-end torque to get the sled moving, and for us, it topped out at an indicated 60 miles an hour while at elevation in Yellowstone. Now, absolute top speed isn't a requirement for this class, but its speed does mean the 400s can easily keep pace with other sleds when out riding in a group. About the only disappointing thing to this class is how rare these machines are. If you've got one, consider yourself lucky. If you want one, well, you better get your money down on one this spring. Now, I can't end this burn without kind of talking about the fact that this segment has been tried before in the past by Skidoo with their dubiously styled freestyle. Now, its success was debatable. For me, I thought it was ugly and the seat was too big, but I think its biggest problem was its timing was wrong. 10 or 15 years from now, though, I don't think there's going to be any debate on the success of the mid-size class this time.